Peace and blessings, soul family. I love you all. I hope everyone's doing well today. Today we're actually going to talk about establishing a Bhakti devotional practice. So, just yesterday I was reading some from Liber Astarte from Aleister Crowley, and seeing like his opinions on devotion and inflaming the self in prayer and many different things about bhakti and having that devotional aspect to your spiritual practice. And so I'm just going to go over a couple little quick things that you can do that will help you to establish that practice. No way, it's not going to let me turn the camera around. Awesome. All right, I figured it out. Okay, so building a daily devotional practice can be super simple. Like, you literally could find the deity that you connect with the most and literally just look at the picture with a sense of reverence, or the murti, the statue, with a sense of reverence and honoring that aspect of divinity. That it could literally be just as simple as that, or it can get much more complex as you go, and allowing it to build on itself and layering and stuff. One of the things that I like to do is giving offerings of food. Of course, usually it's always fruit. But the reason I say this, and this isn't like some spookism where I think that, like, oh wow, the bananas or whatever are starting to wilt, or they're starting to get soft spots, so therefore the deity actually came down and took a bite out of it, or consumed its essence. It's not necessarily like that, but I do it within the practice of making it prasad. So I will chant mantras over them, and also pray over them, and sending positive intention through the spoken word into these, and then these are offered up to the deity. But it being prasad, it is something that later the deity gets the portion that it wants, and then you get the other portion. And the part I'm talking about this that makes it so powerful and so magical is because everything has water. Fruits, they all have water in them. And what do we know from Dr. Emoto's scientific studies that he did? That water holds memory, and it holds structure energetically, depending on what you say about it. If you never research that, go look at it. I got a video on it before. But it's literally, when you speak to something, when you speak to water and then you freeze it, then it makes like snowflakes and all kinds of sacred geometry. And if you speak negatively to it or ignore it and then freeze it, it comes out all distorted and nasty looking. And that just goes to prove that magic works, and it proves that our intention actually affects the world around us. So when you're speaking life into these, basically that water that's inside of these fruits are becoming structured. The intention, the blissful intention of your prayers or of your chanting of mantras over them, is literally structuring the water within the food. And then when you consume it, you're actually consuming like the heightened divine energy. It's literally like structure. It's already structured water, but like when you do this and set an intention into it, it literally makes it even more powerful. I also do the same thing with my colloidal silver and seed oils and stuff. I chant over these every day and have them on my altar, and I ask the divine to place the energy in there to where it is most conducive and most powerful. So next to a couple more things other than prasad, you can always, the one thing that I love to do, I have another Durga Murti in by our front door, and basically every day I'll go and just give reverence and honor to her, and I'll always light an incense and use the smoke to consume the whole Murti, and then also I will light a diya, and then I will do arti, where I'm actually waving the fire around the murti. chanting japa can also be a very, very powerful devotional practice. Just get yourself a japa mala. I would say to get a rudraksha, but I guess I'm into anything that has to do with Shiva and Shakti, which rudraksha is Rudra, and Aksha. Rudra and Aksha, which is the tears of Shiva, which is the tears that fell from Shiva's face when in the state of total bliss. And the same thing works with these. Even though they're dried out, there still is a bit of moisture on here, and when you're chanting japa, you are structuring the moisture that still is in this. Another way, if you don't have like any of the altar tools and stuff like that, you can also just take an incense and burn it. We also have like tons of kapal resin and dragon's blood and a bunch of other different resins and stuff like that we use, but you can just simply use a stick incense. So also if you don't have a diya to be burning the wicks with like ghee and wicks directly, you can just use a candle. I would say go ahead and get you a decent candle though, like a beeswax candle and not a paraffin candle, just because of the chemicals and stuff that's released with that. Prayer. And prayer in an occult sense isn't the same as like a religious person thinking about prayer, where you put your hands together and say, God, please give me this. I need this in my life, and whatever, asking for things. The best analogy I heard is prayer is when you're speaking to God, or you're projecting intention or energy towards God, and meditation is when that energy is reflected. The energy of Vimarsha, self-reflective nature of consciousness. But trying to think any more. Oh yeah, another really great idea. So whenever you are, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of bhajans, but it's basically like devotional music, singing and chanting of mantras and strotas and different songs. And pretty much nowadays you can find just about any deity has some sort of mantra or some sort of hymn or some sort of poem that you can listen to and play, and you're focusing on the energy of the deity whenever you're listening to it and everything. But that's just a few things that you can do to build a bhakti practice. Your bhakti practice definitely doesn't have to look like this. There are ways to practice bhakti even for an atheist, somebody that doesn't believe in God or anything like that. You can have a devotional aspect to your soul. You can have a devotional aspect to a guru. You can have the devotional aspect to your partner or your child. Like, there's many ways in which you can bring this love and devotion out in you, because it's beautiful. And like I said before, even within the philosophies of non-duality, especially in the East, even though we know that we are one with the Creator, it feels awesome to love something so much that you pretend for a little while that that being is something outside of you, so that you can just feel that connection and that love. It doesn't mean that we're thinking, oh yeah, this deity's up in this cloud somewhere and I gotta beg them to help me with everything, and it's not like that. It's a devotion to yourself, truly. When you're devoted to any of these deities, it's self-devotion, it's self-love in the highest degree, because you are the self, capital S self. You are Brahman or Shiva or whatever name you like to put on that divinity, the source, Allah, Yahuwah, whatever name you want to put on it. You are one with that. So these practices are just ways to bring that knowledge out and to wash away the blinders over your eyes that help you to see that you are one with them. The seer, seeing, and seen are all one thing. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Look forward to talking to you later.